own a residential remodeling company. Did $1 million in revenue last year with profit margins in about the 40 to 45% range.
Awesome.
Doing good. And my question is, we have all subcontracted work, and for a legacy perspective, is it smart to hire W-2 employees to run the business? Because as of now, I handle all sales and administrative tasks, and if something happened to me, the business would cease to exist.
It would anyway. Because the W-2 people wouldn't know what to do.
Right. But there's no, I manage everything too. So there's no.
I know, you've got to fix that. It's not whether they're W-2 or contractors. It's the I manage everything part.
Right.
From a legacy perspective. So, yeah, you answer the question of, what happens if I'm not at work for 2 weeks? Oh, God. Right?
Right.
And you're killing it. You have taken this thing to the wall. Way to go. Congratulations. You're working your butt off, and you're very good at managing the jobs, and you're very good at managing the subs, and you're very good at managing the customer's expectations, completing things on budget and on time, or you wouldn't have gotten here. And that's a rarity in the space that you're in, because most people in the space you're in are jacklegs. They don't do a good job. But that's why you got no competition, because you show up on time and do what you said you were going to do. Am I right?
You got it. Exactly.
Yeah. It's an interesting world. I love that world. And so, I always laugh. We did a remodel on a house 30 years ago or so, or 25 years ago, and we couldn't get the doofus to show up. I was wearing him out. I hired the wrong guy. And it was a small remodel, but my son was like 14, and I asked him one day, taking him to school, I said, "What are you going to do when you grow up?" And he goes, "I'm going to go in the construction business." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "It's an easy business. If you just show up on time and do what you said, you're going to have no competition." He got that at 14,
Yeah, so, I'm telling my sons the same thing.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah. So I think you start to bring in your first layer of leadership, which is going to move you, up into Pathfinder, or from Pathfinder into Trailblazer at this point, because, and then you decide what the model is for the actual on-the-ground labor. I'm fine in your business model, because I grew up in construction and real estate. I would be very comfortable running subs.
Right.
And I like that because I don't have to manage as much crap. And if there's no business, I'm not sitting there on payroll that's twiddling its thumbs.
Right. And most of the advice that I've gotten to other people in my industry who are further along than I am say, keep it the way it is, that I'm an oddball, that like nobody does that well.
Yeah.
Don't mess with something that works.
Yeah, I would keep subs. Now, I do think you need to have some on-staff people that's going to increase your overhead, but it's also going to increase your ability to do more jobs. So it's going to increase revenue. So I think you need to. Have you got a W-2 foreman or supervisor, job manager, whatever we want to call them?
No, I have no W-2. I run all the crews, do all the sales. Everything is
okay.
Out.
Yeah. I think that's your next step, is you put somebody on to help you do the things you do, not swing a hammer.
Right, and I thought about that, and me just staying at the sales position, but get someone to actually run the crews themselves.
Yeah, well, and they're not going to do it instantaneously. You're going to run them together with them for 6 months to get them to run them the way you want to run them. Because I don't know where the person you hired was trained, but they probably don't do it as well as you do it.
Right, right,
so
right, and that's some walls that I've hit before.
Yeah, you got to get them in. They got to do it Sam's way, because Sam's way is freaking working. So. They got to be able to finish the sentence of what would Sam do, not what a supervisor or a foreman does. So, I'm going to bring you in, but your delivery of this on budget, on time, you're managing the subs. If they don't show, you replace them, because we've got to finish this job. We told this homeowner, and all those kinds of things you do every day. You keep the heat on, And, it's not okay that the stinking appliances weren't delivered on time. So we're on the phone with whoever going, get the crap over here. This is what they do. They light a fire, they manage a project. And so, it's a good job. It's a good job for somebody. And if you had somebody doing 70% of that and you're doing the other 30%, you could probably increase your revenue 3 or 4-fold what that person costs.
Yeah, and that's the metric that I've heard, that they should bring in about 3 or 4 times.
Well, in this case, it's freeing you up, and you're going to bring it in.
Right, that's true too.
Because you're not on the job busting somebody's chops over the appliances that weren't delivered. Instead, you're over here making a sale.
Right.
And you're making sure the bills are paid and the accounting, and you're managing some of the metrics, which is the spreadsheet on the job, the job costing on each job and the schedule on each job. And so you're watching, is this thing progressing while he's got dirt under his fingernails pushing the stuff around actually on the job. And so the jobs are going to get more efficient, and your estimating is going to be more accurate when you do this, because you're not going to be bogged down in the day-to-day.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the hire. And I'm probably not doing, I don't think I want W-2s if I'm in your world as far as the actual work getting done. You may end up with a person that kind of is the grout that fills in the gaps, where a sub, there's always on a job, it depends on the size of it, but when you're building a home, it's the same way. You need somebody who's going to just do the 5-6 little things that don't really fall under a certain sub.
Right.
They can.
Right.
It's almost like a jack of all trades, and they can sweep, and they can tighten up a faucet, and
pay them $25 an hour or whatever.
Exactly. You probably do need that. The more jobs you run, the more you can justify that. But in terms of your big trades, the electricians, the plumbers, the carpenters, the painters, the drywall, I'm going to leave them on their own.
Got it.
You do what you want, but I'm just thinking through it with you. Because you can grow or shrink the business at will, you could double the size of the business and hardly change your actual payroll. Yeah, because the subs are not a payroll item in that sense. And so you've not taken on the risk of, I've got to pay these people, but all the work dried up. That risk is off the books with the way we're talking about doing this. So good job, Sam. I love what you're doing, man. And I can tell you're a stud. This is very cool. Very cool. Good stuff. Thank you for being a listener. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.